All right, this is going to be a quick review that won't really show you how to do 1 point or 2 point perspective, but it should hopefully jog your memory so that you remember your previous classes with me, or maybe even your previous classes in middle school or elementary. I will be posting other videos on how to do 1 point and 2 point perspective, and if you need me to drop one in the announcements, reach out to me, or if you need a link to the YouTube site where it's at, let me know and I will take care of that. All right, hopefully you'll remember this. Okay, so what we did probably your first year, well, maybe not even your first year, we warmed up doing these. There's a vanishing point where all your lines converge. So if you're standing on train tracks, right? You know that way off there in the distance, they are the same distance apart as they are wherever you're standing. But because it's so far away, space starts to compress and you get this little dot where the lines go to. That is basically 1 point perspective. It's called your vanishing point, all right? It is on the horizon. It's not in the sky. It's not below the horizon. And you will notice that all the tops of the electrical poles or the telephone poles here, they also all go to that vanishing point. Here, all of our buildings, and I hope you guys are seeing this, are also going to the vanishing point. So this is a bird's eye view. You're looking down on the city. Every single one of these lines on the building in 1 point are going to the vanishing point. Now, the difference between 1 point and 2 point is 1 point you can draw flats, the flat area that you're looking at. And in this case, those flats are the tops of the buildings. It's the ground. But all the corners of these shapes are connecting to that vanishing point, even if you can't see it. It is right there. Opposite's true of this one. This is a sky drawing. There is a vanishing point there. The edges of the building are connecting to that vanishing point. All the lines are going there. In this subway, all the lines top of the train, the sidewalks, you will even notice the edge lines of these sidewalks all going to a vanishing point. And if you were to break it down into just forms floating in the air, you draw a square. You connect the edges of the square to the vanishing point. Boom, 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 boom. Same with here. If you did a circle, you would connect to far side. The reason we don't connect up these edges, you want to create a solid form. Anytime a line goes through the front shape, you're making it transparent. And that's what you're seeing here in these boxes. That doesn't make for strong form. That makes it look like your box is see-through. Now, if that's your goal, okay. But most of the time, you want to have this plane, this plane, this plane be solid so you can't see through them. That's why you don't connect up on the far side of the shape. Any line that goes through the form or the shape, the first shape, you don't bother to draw. More vanishing points, all lines are converging. More vanishing points. This is a digital one, that's pencil one. Even in this hallway, that flat wall, they'll erase all the vanishing points, but you can see every line in there from the tops of the windows, tops of the doors going to the vanishing point. Tops of the chair, vanishing point. Top sides of the table, vanishing point. Here's your flat that you're staring at, but all the corners, except for that one, go to your vanishing point. And lastly, a school hallway. Now, I'm pretty sure the 5-6s last year did not get a chance to do the hallways because that was something that I was holding off on. You'll probably be drawing your rooms of your house at some point. All right, let's go to 2 point perspective real quick. All right, so the difference between 2 point perspective and 1 point, you have an extra point. Generally, the 2 points are on the horizon line, similar to 1 point, except they're on the far edge of the paper. Instead of drawing a flat, you're drawing a corner line. The right side of that corner line goes to the right vanishing point. The left side goes to the left vanishing point. Right to right, left to left. Right to right, left to left. Unless you want it to look like it goes inward. Then you just switch vanishing points. Here's why people like 2-point more than they like 1-point. There are only 3 lines. There's that vanishing point line, or that one, or it's straight up and down. You really don't have too many other lines that you will ever come across in 2-point that need to go anyplace else. So if it doesn't look right on the right vanishing point, check the left. If it doesn't look right there, that line probably needs to be up and down. It makes it a lot simpler. So you can tell from your vanishing points here, they're going back. When I show you a city street, this side, left vanishing point, this side, right vanishing point. Left vanishing point, right vanishing point. All right. The trees follow your space rules. The higher up on the paper they get, the smaller they get. The closer they are, the bigger they get. That's how you create a space. A closer space, same thing. Now, interestingly enough, even though these are organic, they are going to one of the vanishing points because they're trying to make it look like they're all planted at the same time. That's very well-kept garden. Looks like a nice place. I don't think I'd have a flat roof in Illinois, though. Too much snow when we get it. You can use 2-point on a box. You can use it on a chessboard. All right. If you're going to think about it very logically, when you do 2-point and you want it to be very real, your cone of vision is in the middle. So this area would all be sharp. You would start to blur out the sides. But you don't necessarily have to do that. Right? So if you were doing your skeleton scene and you're doing an inside of a room, corner line, and it flips because you want it to go away from the corner. So in the inside room, the right side goes to the left side goes to the right. And if you're like, well, wait a minute, that's complicated. Try it. You'll figure it out right away. You're like, well, that doesn't look right. It looks like I'm drawing out an exterior building. Flip the vanishing points. Like I said, you got vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2, vertical. That's all you got. That's all you have to worry about in a 2-point, really. I mean, you might make some fluffy pillows, but they're going to be organic, so they wouldn't go to a vanishing point anyway. They'd go maybe loosely. All those trees are not going to a vanishing point. Towel's not going to go, but the couch is. I could tell you how to do ovals and stuff in 2-point perspective, but it's almost easier if you just cheat those because there's a grid method for making them, and it's kind of extensive. So you're better off just kind of winging it, making it an ellipse or making it an oval. All right, but if you really want to know the grid method, I can turn on the camera and show you. All right, exterior house, interior room. So let's say, whoops, let's go back there. Let's say you're doing your skeletons in the kitchen. Maybe they're cooking dinner. All right, maybe one skeleton is looking into the fridge, the other one's at the stove, somebody's doing dishes, somebody's cutting up vegetables. Maybe your third skeleton is a cat or a dog, or your fifth one's a cat or a dog. That's the kind of scene you could do. If you're doing setting a scene and you're an upper level 5-6, you can do the whole scene with people. All right. It's a little more wholesome than doing a bar scene, but it still would be really cool. So what I need from everybody today, if you have not turned in your pre-sketch yet, please turn in your pre-sketch. Okay, now I've given you guys bigger, more complicated projects because I assumed you're upper level kids, you should be working on them. If we get past this first quarter and the first skeleton paper is due in 2 weeks, the illustration. That's why I've been pressing you guys for the pre-sketch for about a week and a half. If we get to the point where most of you guys are not passing this class, I'm going to have to go back to the method that I'm using with the 1-2s, which is we do something thing every day together, and then they're responsible for turning it in. So every time I meet with a Discover drawing or drawing 1-2 or drawing 1 as it's called now, we do like the Canon of the Human Head, and then they all have to submit it at the end of class. Or we do Canon of the Human Body, they all have to submit it. Or we do hands for 3 days, and they have to submit their hands every day. I would rather give you guys bigger projects so that you can be happier with them because you do have experience in this class. But I need to start having stuff to grade. And a lot of you guys haven't turned in your skeletons yet. I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking to probably about 80% of you. A lot of you haven't turned in skeletons. A lot of you haven't turned in gesture sketches. There are people still missing their expressive portraits. So that stuff needs to be in. All right. I'm going to have to throw grades out soon. The sketch of the skeleton does not have to be on good paper. No, it can be on trash. It's a compositional sketch only. It's just to show me where, like when we were looking at that kitchen, where would you put the skeletons? What would their pose be? Even if you real roughed out that kitchen, you didn't put any details in the pre-sketch, that should still show me enough of the space that I can go, okay, you're going to have one skeleton in the foreground chopping carrots. You're going to have one skeleton in the background washing dishes. You're going to have a skeleton in the middle ground at the fry pan. All right, that's the kind of information I'm looking for. And you don't need to do full skeletons on those pre-sketches. They can be stick figures, you know, roughed out, fat stick figures, but just enough to, you know, let me know. All right. Cool. I'm going to give you guys